Yes, hello. So you must be my 4 o'clock appointment, yes? Excellent. So I'm Kitty. I spoke to you on the phone for a little while. Um, I'm going to go over your ostomy supplies since you just had surgery. What was it? 2 weeks ago, did you say on the phone? A week and a half. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to show you some different products. And I'll show you some samples. I do love free samples. Free samples are always my favorite things to get. When I first got my ileostomy some years ago, I always loved it when they sent me free samples, and I'd write to different places and be like, could you please send me blah blah blah, and then they would send it. It was great. Okay. First, I'd like to show you what I wear normally, and this is Coloplast. It's by the brand Assura, and it's mostly in the United States from what I understand. Now, since I've been living in Canada, I cannot find this anymore, but I will show it to you anyway, since it is one that I use, but there is some issues with it. Now, the Assura, ASSURA 12630, that is the kind I have been using for quite some years. And they look like this. I have an app. They're pretty good actually, but there are some issues with them, just as there are with all. Mostly it's with the wafer. Now these are cut to size to fit wafer. I'm sorry, you're so new to this. Are you following along? Okay. So this is the sticky part. Sticky, quote unquote, I'll say. And this sticks against your lower abdomen, and you trim it. This is size to fit, so it does not come pre-cut. You have to trim it yourself, which I always like, because you never know, about your stoma. It doesn't stay the same size always. This shows you it is 15 millimeters big, which is very tiny, like the size of a pinky. And there's 25 millimeters, and there's 35, and that's if it is a perfect circle where your ileostomy is, when they cut out your large intestine and they sew the small intestine onto the surface of your lower abdomen, kind of by your right hip. But you know that. But it's not always a perfect round size. Sometimes it's a little bit off. So, I never mind actually these markings. And I just cut the way it looks, which sometimes is oblong, sometimes slanted, but don't worry about getting it perfect, because after you've cut it like this, and you peel off this layer right here, you lay it aside, and then you use this. Now this stuff is actually quite great. It is a type of strip paste. Now they do call it strip paste, but it's actually more like a very soft kind of wax. Excuse me, because I was allowed to bring pets in today. Normally I am not. My husband could not watch them. It is not good with cats and flowers. 이제どうした? Thank God all of these are in their boxes. That keeps them sanitary. So this strip paste is also from the United States, but I do know that you can get it in certain European countries and in the UK. I believe there are off-brands of it as well in Canada. Now it comes like this. It says Coloplast on each one. It's in plastic. What you do is you separate it. Like this. And then you slowly peel it open. And it's wrapped in some more plastic. And you take a bit of it. Just like that. And then you kind of mold it with your fingers. So it becomes a big circle. A nice flat ring. And you place this around your stoma, just like that. Oh, but I should first go to first things first, shouldn't I? So if you are first changing your bag, Mizuno, you cannot help teach about stomas. You do not know very much about them, and I don't think you speak English very well. I'm sorry, you cannot help, but he wants to help. That's the important thing, is wanting to help. So, you first take off your bag, and you are like, oh no, I need to change it. How do I do this? Well, I would suggest using an Adapt product that is called Stoma Powder. And it sounds rather silly, but here's how it works. So you unscrew it, and then very carefully, around the little circle of your stoma, you dab powder on, all around the outside, making sure it does not fall on the rest of your tummy. Then after that, to make sure that everything will stick correctly, you take out Pavilion No Sting Barrier Film. And this is quite nice. I do love it. This is a brand new box. I love new boxes. And they look kind of like an alcohol wipe. You tear it open, and then you take the very edge of it where it has some kind of sticky, almost water-like film on it. It's a little sponge pad. You dab, 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 all around the edges, all around the circle of your stoma. And then you go, and you try to make it dry for about, I'd say, 30 seconds or so. Then, in those harried 30 seconds, take your little circle that you've made of the wax, or as they call it, strip paste, You place it around the outside of your stoma, and then you take your pre-cut bag that you cut yourself, and you quickly place it on top and press it down, not in a hurtful way, but almost as if giving yourself a lower tummy massage. Just kind of very slowly massage it down. Now me, because I do not like this flap, I tend to fold it down. And I have a little holder that I've made. I shall show you, since you are dealing with this too. Now for women, it may be a bit easier to accommodate having an ileostomy, because we can wear our skirts up above it. I will show. So here is the edge of my skirt. Yes. And here's the edge of my ileostomy bag. And you can fold it up like that, but I like to keep it folded down. And then you can wear your skirt right there above it. And the stoma is a little tiny red tulip, kind of like these, that goes right here. See? It's just a little red bump. You don't hardly see it. You can wear your skirt. For gentlemen, I believe it will not be as difficult either, depending on what kind of trousers you wear and how high you wear them, and possibly where your stoma is located. Now, since coloplast is not common outside of the United States, that kind of bag I showed you, I do have some wonderful samples. Here's a different coloplast, number 2115. And these look like this. They are tiny, but tiny sometimes is good. Now there are some that are made without any kind of opening right here, and they are made completely closed, so you can go swimming. I went swimming in the ocean last September. Very cold, felt like ice water, and I wore one that was completely closed for the first time in my life, and I was very excited to swim around. Even though it was very, very cold, I was like, no, I'm going to swim. I was so determined, but I was so cold. I was shivering badly afterwards. But these are cute though. They're cute. A little too small for normal day. Now, another sample. I guess this says salts on it. And it's ND13, which is very strange. Ah, now I understand. These are from a different kind that I think only is in Canada, but these kinds of closures at the bottom are very common everywhere, so I shall show you. So this is the sticky wafer part that would lie against your skin, and this is the kind of nude covering for it, so you do not see what's inside. Now this closure folds up like this a couple times and then has Velcro. so you can stick it together like that. Because the normal kinds, like this, they come with a little snap like so. And at the very bottom, take it and snap it shut. Just like that. It lays pretty flat in your clothing, and it's not very noticeable really. It's just very flat, and every few hours you unlatch the bottom and you can drain it out just when it gets a little bit full, not too full. And then you close it back up, easy as pie. Now back onto the samples. There's another kind that is Hollister 3796, and these look like these are also tiny. And they also have a Velcro attachment. It's quite handy. I do love a Velcro attachment. They're so cute. They're like little candies. Personally, I haven't had much luck with Hollister. But then again, the Coloplast are not that good either. So now, with the last sample. These are also Hollister. It seems to be a famous brand throughout all countries, no matter where you go in Europe. And this is 3795. These have those dreaded filters. So in the back, there is the normal wafer that everyone has. But here, on the front that would face out, is a weird thing called a filter. What it is supposed to do is to let air out without any scent. That does not really work. It's more just a big piece of junk in the way when you are trying to wear clothing. That's the little thing here. It doesn't let air out, and it most certainly does not, it doesn't help anything. It's just ridiculous. But some people swear by them. I've never known why. I just think it is quite a nuisance. Look at this. Yeah. I'm being unprofessional, I'm sorry. It has a rather large wafer area as well, which can be irritating to your skin. But if things are irritating to your skin, there is that Ostomy powder which does help. And also sometimes with brand new ostomates, they will find that taking their wafer off and their bag off and maybe holding a plastic bag close to their stoma for a period of an hour or so sometimes can ease the irritation or the even discomfort, a slight pain that they might be feeling. I wouldn't recommend this to happen frequently, as well, even changing your bag, you can have accidents when your stoma produces and you have no bag on. It's a mess. But it is not too bad. It's pretty easy to handle. When I was a very young girl, I used to be very scared of having a stoma, but it was not as bad as I thought at all. But what I do wish a doctor had told me is that with your ileostomy, once your large intestine is removed and your small intestine is sewn onto your abdomen like that, you do not absorb B vitamins because that place has been cut away. So you have to get a B complex shot every month, especially B12. And you also lose potassium very easily, and sodium. Sodium and potassium are lost very easily with an ileostomy, and nobody did tell me this. So what was recommended is like V8 juice, potato chips, stuff that has a high amount of sodium but still has some nutrition in them as well. And let's see. Unfortunately, you do have to avoid a lot of foods now too. Do you understand that? Oh, okay. The nurse already told you. Oh, good. Okay, well, you have to avoid pineapple, nuts, mushrooms, a lot of meat, like steaks. Now, eventually, sometimes, people can eat these things, and that's fine. But especially where you are in the very beginning, you have to be very, very careful, okay? And I do mean to avoid these things. Like, when you eat something that might have a nut in it, chew it up really good. And what I did at the very beginning is I had an old-fashioned little tube that had a grindy thing on the top for baby food, and I ground up everything. It was gross, but I never had a blockage, because once you have a blockage from one of the bad foods, then you have to go to the hospital and you are very ill. It is not a good story. Please do come back if you have any questions, okay? I just want to be as helpful as I can. I know I would have loved to have someone help me when I was first starting out with this, even just to talk about it. Okay. Have a good day now.